Hello. One Great Earth. I have here pulled up satellite imagery of the Khakhovka Dam and hydroelectric power plant in Nova Khakhovka on the Dnipro River. There's also disaster where I started my stream. I started posting satellite images. I hear myself talking and I cannot find my stream. Oh my god, I can hear myself. It's so bad. It's throwing me off horribly. uh, I'm I am terribly sorry. Please bear with me while I hunt down this rogue. This isn't funny. I can't find this tab. I can't find where this audio is coming out of. I think that was it. Okay. No, it's not. How? Oh, it was in my Discord. Oh. I had it linked to my Discord and I was wondering why. I'm glad I didn't shut down all my tabs. That would have been brutal. But yes, as you can see, it's been a year since I've been doing this. And the Khakhovka Dam was the disaster that motivated me to start posting about my thoughts and feelings. Now, when I first started, for the first 6 months, I think, I only posted text dumps and satellite imagery time lapses. It wasn't until November I started actually appearing on camera. So, as for me uploading to the channel in general, it's been a year. But since I actually been doing this more as a podcast, like a long form, it's been since late October. Late October, November. But it's still, this is a terrible disaster that befell everyone affected. A little bit of background on the Khakhovka Dam and Khakhovka, Khakhovka, I'm saying that right. You would have corrected me if I was saying it incorrectly, so I will go with this. Say Nova Khakhovka. 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 Don't have the tongue for it right now. But here it is. The Khakhovka Hydroelectric Power Plant, or HPP, was located in southern Ukraine, half a kilometer from the town of Nova Khakhovka in the Kherson region. Russian occupiers seized it on the first day of full-scale invasion on February 24th, 2022. It's February 24th, 2022. They immediately mined the station and blew it up on June 6, 2023. This hydroelectric power plant began in 1950 September. Environmental consequences of blowing up the Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant. Got it. In March of this year, scientists from the British Centre for Ecology and Hydrology, UCA, and H.R. Wallingford published the results of their research regarding the consequences of Russians blowing up the Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant dam. They identified huge threats to the environment and biodiversity. Scientists used cutting-edge technology to conduct the first independent assessment of the aftermath just weeks after the disaster. The study combined hydrological and digital modeling with analysis of satellite images and environmental data. Scientists found that the dam's destruction led to such ecological consequences as the death of thousands of fish, the devastation of the Khakhovka reservoir, and the erosion of sediments. They identified more than 1,000 potential sources of pollution in flooded areas, including industrial facilities and sewage treatment plants. The study showed that the dam explosion damaged 500,000 hectares of protected areas of national and international importance, in particular the Black Sea Biosphere Reserve. Whoa. As a result of the explosion of the Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant, at least 150 tons of engine oil entered the Dnipro River, nearby river, and there was also a risk of further leakage of more than 300 tons. 150 tons of engine oil entering into the river is a disaster on itself. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of pounds of engine oil. This isn't something that can be filtered. And you go here to the Khakhovka Dam. It all flows in this estuary, but it just, like, for where the dam shoot out the water, because they blew it up. And it causes great flooding of water to just shoot straight, and everybody and everything that was down from this dam was completely destroyed, because the actual wave, that first initial wave of the dam water that was let loose, would have been one of the most catastrophic events to witness. It would have destroyed everything in its wake. And then the water suddenly started to rise for everyone else, while the river was completely depleted of resources needed for the nearby Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which needs cool, clean, running water to cool the nuclear power plant. It is scary. It is Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Come up here. This is the Dnieper River. Right here. That is the dam. Here, water. So everything in that radius right here would have been just washed away, obliterated, extensively damaged to the point of there's no repair. And then there you have the water that sets in, all of the polluted water. Now we continue, and we can see different areas that trail off into irrigation trails and other little rivers. The mighty Dnieper River, though, you never would have thought to have seen it empty. I used to look at this river all the time on satellite. Irrigation, you have nuclear power plant design and hydroelectric. I just skip right straight to... I apologize, my OBS disconnected for a moment there. Right back at it. One of their biggest crimes against nature and people of our entire planet. He recalled that when the invaders blew up the hydroelectric power plant, at least tens of thousands of people were injured and hundreds of thousands were left without drinking water. Zelensky also separately emphasized that holding Russia to just responsibility for this and other war crimes, deliberate Russian attacks on people and humanity, on all living things, will be no less significant work than limiting the consequence of the Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant explosion. So what does it look like today? The reservoirs are dry. More of a trickle now. Just dry seabed, sand and mud. To rebuild or not? Well, we have an article about them rebuilding here. The Khakhovka dam destruction was one of Russia's most serious crimes against environment and people. Deliberate and premeditated crime. June 6, 2023. Khakhovka power plant could be rebuilt in 6-7 years once liberated, Iraqi Hydro Energy says. The Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant may be restored in 6 or 7 years once the territory where it is located is liberated. It is no surprise that you would have to have a Russian-free zone to rebuild, and any kind of rebuilding, Russia can strike all across Ukraine, and the front line of Ukraine is the same distance from Oregon all the way down the whole west coast of California, Baja County. You have to go the entire length of California on the coastline And that is Ukraine's front line right now. The energy company has also lost $138 million in annual revenue from the sale of electricity and additional services because the hydroelectric power plant was destroyed. Russia, at least 32 people died in floods caused by the dam explosion in the Ukrainian-held territories, according to Ukraine's defense ministry. Russia, in turn, claimed that 59 people died in the territory it occupies, while an Associated Press investigation discovered that the town of Oleski alone, the number of that is at least in the hundreds. What? Wow. Well, there you have it. Now this here is looking back at the Khakhovka dam explosion 1 year later. When Russian forces blew up the Khakhovka dam on June 6, 2023, it changed the landscape of southern Ukraine permanently. The breach unleashed nearly 20 cubic kilometers of water from the Khakhovka reservoir, a massive body of fresh water spanning 3 districts. Water levels in several cities in Kherson Oblast rose to 11 meters within hours of the breach, drowning 80 settlements across Ukraine's south and killing hundreds. The dam's destruction has resulted in a humanitarian catastrophe in Zaporizhzhia, Dnipropetrovsk, Kherson, and Mykolaiv Oblast. Around 600 kilometers of land was flooded, devastating the rich farmland in the region and threatening long-term economic development. With 90% of the reservoir drained, 700,000 residents in Ukraine's warmest oblast suffered water shortages in the peak of last summer. The Ukrainian government went to work in July 2023 to rebuild a 145-kilometer water pipeline to supply 1.5 million people. Kherson Oblast was impacted the most, with 37,000 houses damaged. The Russian occupied left bank suffered heavily, housing 68% of the flooded settlements. Some residents on the left bank were stranded for days waiting for help. On the Ukrainian control side, rescuers evacuated thousands even under heavy shelling from Russian forces. These are images from that day and rescue attempts. People being evacuated from flooded areas after the explosion. Residents of Kherson were warming blankets after the explosion. Cold. A volunteer carries a dog during an evacuation from a flooded area in Kherson. A young girl shows a picture of her family in Kherson. Cat in the picture? The cat survived this. Water is ridiculous. Some places they said 11 meters. Are you... The wall of water that would come is catastrophic. Look at that water line here. See, that's where the water rose from. Here is previous, and here is the new line. It went down substantially. Wow. So it was about 11 meters, they said. I see that there. Apologies, I'm having a little trouble with my camera. It's not lag. My camera is just intermittently going in and out randomly. I apologize for that. Oh. You can see these neighborhoods. The next image. Let's see how big can I make these. So this is one of the areas. What does it say? Oleski. This is what it looked like. Just looks suburban. Lots of residential homes. And then it becomes this. In an instant. Not overnight. Not for days. But in an instant, everything is flooded. People are dead. Lives are ruined. And the ecology is completely screwed. You have homes like this that you can just see rooftops. It doesn't even look real. It almost looks like pixel art, I would say. It doesn't look like a real image, because what it looks like is just seeing a bunch of floating rooftops, and that is a strange perspective to have. So yes, it is real, and it is very tragic and damning. So again, we go here. The same red house right here. This is a hellscape. If hell is full of water. $150 tons of engine oil entered the water. It is, still thinking about that. It is very polluted, makes the water very, very polluted, very dirty, impossible to drink, impossible to clean, and everything gets splashed with oil. Rocks, everything. It's an oil spill. It was a monstrous oil spill. I think of it like that as well. The economic toll is estimated at 3.8 billion, according to the Minister of Environmental Protection and Natural Resources, Ruslan Strilets. However, calculations are still ongoing. It is not known how bad the situation is in the occupied territories. Because what are you going to believe, Russia, from what they're saying? Replacing the dam will cost $1 billion. Wow. The act of the worst environmental war crimes of the war. The flooding devastated ecosystems, impacted 60,000 hectares of forest, and dragged polluted water into the Black Sea, poisoning wildlife and marine life. The suffering didn't end in the Dnieper River, but is felt widely around the area. This is Tom, an animal rescuer from the United States, rides an inflatable boat on a flooded street. And here's San, right here in the back. He's really tucked away in that image. That's the dude right there. People wait for a transfer on a platoon in a flooded area as a result of the Khakhovka Dam destruction on June 12, 2023. People are evacuated from the flooded residential areas. You can see people didn't even have their shoes, or their shoes got stuck in the mud while they were walking. If you've ever walked in like kind of mud that they're probably talking about here, it's it'll take your shoes off. Flower in the water of the flooded area. A view shows a flooded area after the Russian army destroyed the Khakhovka Dam. You look about 11 meters here. Get some Maxar satellite imagery. We have here Khakhovka, Ukraine. We have here fields open, lots of different monstrous. It is one of the greatest acts of ecocide in the history of man. 1-year anniversary of this and my channel stream. The flood after Khakhovka Dam explosion starts to cause damage to the homes. Everything floating down as well, down the river. Because that water is moving in one direction very powerfully. So it's going to bring everything in that direction. So anything in the way of a home is going to hit a log. Residents sit on a flooded street. This image. In an aerial view of residential districts in the flooded area of the city of Kherson, Ukraine. A view of the Dnipro hydroelectric power plant and the newly formed beaches of Khakhovka Island after the water level in the Dnipro River fell, caused by the Russian attack on the Khakhovka hydroelectric power plant. You see the dam here. This should be water several meters high, many meters high. And we have people in here in the side of the dam where the water should be. A woman stands on a flooded street in Kherson. General view of dried up lands of Khakhovka Reservoir, overgrown with thick vegetation in Zaporizhzhia Oblast, Ukraine, on May 16, 2024. You can see just a huge pockets of water still. I thank you for watching. It has been quite an interesting year. As I grow this channel more and more, I try to grow it off live streams. I didn't know that how difficult that was going to be until I talked to some other content creators that have been doing this far, far longer than I. Remarked on how difficult it is to grow a channel with just live videos. So I'm uploading shorts, I'm uploading smaller videos, and I am uploading the graphics again, say like satellite imagery and time lapses. I giving updates because I don't want to go and talk for 45 minutes, every 5 days about the same iceberg. So upload shorts of it. That way I can focus on other topics, so I'm not repeating the same things over and over again in the streams. Definitely don't want to do that. Because you don't want me to somebody scroll back and see the last 2 weeks I talked about, just one topic the entire time, but there's like 20 hours of content. I don't see how that people would look at that and go, yeah, I could listen to that. It'd be too much, in my opinion. Slava Ukraini. Those are all the images that I have for here. I thank you for watching. Please, if you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out immensely and keeps me motivated in making videos of all different types of content related to climate change. It has to be big, It has to affect a lot of people for me to look into it. And frankly, it is exhausting sometimes, because the material that you're looking at could doom scrolling, but that is precisely what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid any doomsaying, doom scrolling, and just want to leave the hyperbole to other people, not myself. I don't want to spread disinformation or sow mistrust in viewers. Sure. If I say something incorrectly, I would definitely address it. But I try very hard to be factually correct. And if I'm not, I'll look it up, or somebody will correct me. Not a big deal. It's a big deal when you lie. And it's been 1 year since I've been doing this channel. The one thing I learned is that I have to have patience in me talking. Because let's say if I read something already 4 or 5 times, and then I go on stream and I want to share it, I might be a little quick in my speech. And so some people saying it's the fastest they've ever heard me talk, and people that know me in person saying that. I must have been talking very, very fast. I should listen to that again later. I normally don't listen to my these whenever I do a live stream. I don't really listen to them. I have been recently because I've been having to do the shorts. So figuring out like what minute to cut out of the hour-long or 40-minute long video, that's probably been the most challenging part. Like just doing the live streams, hitting the button, and going on here and talking about at least two or three different things. I like this format a lot. It offers a lot of flexibility and allows me to connect a lot of stories. After a few days, you'll see that it looks like I might be revisiting older stories, but there's just so much that usually has to be said, and there's not enough time. There's so much climate injustice in this world, and the people that are out there fighting it, fighting against progress, fighting against the people that are on the right side of history. It's tragic. And this war in Ukraine, the one thing that we can take away from it, when we talk about climate change and war, is that militaries do not have to report their effect on the environment. It should be worrying, especially with just how much Russia is throwing at Ukraine every day. It's terrifying. While this was the largest act of sabotage, of terrorism by Russia, they're still being attacked and bombed every day, civilians. I think it was over 95% of rockets and missiles fired by Russia are against civilian targets. That's insane. Anybody that dares to say otherwise is an apologist or Russian. Because whenever there is a full-scale air raid alert in in Ukraine, Russia is able to target just about anywhere in Ukraine. So missiles are zipping around in the sky, drones are flying low, attack drones and explosive Shahid drones, the Iranian type. It's a lot to think that it's going to be 6 to 7 years to rebuild this after it's liberated from the Russians. Alright. I believe that is all I have for topic for now. Please take care. Let's see. I'm still connected. You know what I could do? I was going to find... Yeah. Going to find his speech, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Was that at the... No. Was it at the D-Day anniversary today? I believe so. Okay. Oh well. I'll find it eventually, but I did not see it already. I just seen referenced here. Alright. Please take care. I'm actually going to be gone this time, I promise. Thank you. Take care.